They said the Harrington Public Library had been empty for 30 years, but when I pushed the heavy oak door open at exactly 11:47 p.m., the bell above it rang anyway. The sound was sharp, impatient, like someone announcing my arrival. Dust hung in the air, frozen in my flashlight beam, and the smell of old paper and mold wrapped around my lungs. Before I could step back, the door slammed shut behind me. In the silence that followed, I heard a whisper drift between the shelves, "You're late." My heart began to race, because I was absolutely sure I had come alone. I had taken the dare for my YouTube channel, chasing views the way others chased ghosts. The library stood at the edge of a dying Midwestern town, boarded up after a fire killed its head librarian in 1989. Locals claimed her spirit never left. I laughed at those stories earlier that day, but inside the building, laughter felt illegal. The flashlight flickered, and somewhere deep within the stacks, a book slammed shut with a sound like a gunshot. I swallowed hard, already knowing the first 3 minutes of this video would ruin anyone brave enough to watch. Rows of shelves stretched farther than the building should have allowed, creating corridors that bent at unnatural angles. My footsteps echoed too loudly, then suddenly not at all, as if the floor itself had grown soft. I passed a checkout desk covered in ash, and behind it sat a ledger, freshly opened. Names filled the pages, written in dark, wet ink. At the bottom of the last page was my full name, spelled correctly. The ink shimmered, and a new line began to write itself beneath it, slowly forming the word, overdue. That was when I heard the cart. Metal wheels squeaked rhythmically, slow and deliberate, circling me. "Hello," I called, my voice cracking despite my effort to sound calm. The cart stopped. A shape rose behind the shelves, tall and thin, its outline broken by dangling strips of burned clothing. When it stepped into the light, I saw her face, pale, blistered, and frozen in an expression of professional patience. Her eyes were blackened pits, yet I felt her staring straight through me. "Quiet," she said softly. "This is a place of reading." I ran. The aisles shifted as I moved, turning familiar paths into dead ends. Books fell from shelves, thudding at my feet, their covers screaming titles like Confessions, Final Notices, and Last Words. My breath burned, and panic clawed at my chest as the whispering grew louder. Thousands of voices murmured at once, reciting lines, dates, regrets. I realized with sick clarity that these were not just books. They were records, each one bound with a human life that had never truly left the building. I burst into what should have been the children's section, only to find rows of scorched desks instead. On each desk lay an open book, its pages blank except for fingerprints pressed into the paper, as if something beneath were trying to escape. The librarian appeared at the far end of the room without walking there, her cart gliding beside her. "No running," she scolded gently. "Rules keep us safe." She lifted a book from the cart, and I saw my own face staring back from the cover, mouth open in a silent scream. My legs gave out, and I collapsed against a shelf. The library lights flickered on overhead, revealing the true scale of the place. It wasn't abandoned at all. Shadows of people sat at tables, stood in aisles, and huddled in corners, their forms thin and restless. Every single one of them was reading. Their eyes glowed faintly, reflecting the same dead black as the librarian's. When one looked up at me, I felt a sharp pain in my chest, as if a page had been torn from my soul. Please, I whispered. Oh, leave. I won't come back. The librarian tilted her head, considering me the way one might consider a damaged book. Leaving is not permitted, she said. Knowledge must be preserved. She opened my book, and the pages began to fill with memories I had never shared, childhood fears, private failures, secrets I had buried deep. Each word burned as it appeared, carving itself out of me. I screamed, and the sound was absorbed by the walls. Desperate, I grabbed the book from her hands and hurled it across the room. It burst into ash before hitting the ground, and the library shook in anger. The whispering turned into shrieks. The librarian's calm expression cracked, revealing raw fury beneath. You will be catalogued, she hissed. Shelves toppled, blocking exits, and ghostly hands reached for me from every direction. I crawled toward a fire exit sign glowing faintly at the back of the building, hope flaring painfully bright. As I reached the door, the librarian's hand clamped around my ankle, ice cold and impossibly strong. Images flooded my mind. The fire, the screams, the way she had tried to save the books instead of herself. Someone must tend the collection, she whispered, her voice almost pleading now. I kicked free, ripping my shoe off in her grip, and slammed my shoulder into the door. It burst open, dumping me into the night air. I didn't stop running until dawn. The library behind me was dark and silent, just another ruined building. When I checked my camera footage later, the video cut out exactly 3 minutes after I entered. The last frame showed me standing alone, smiling nervously. Behind me, at the checkout desk, the librarian waited patiently. I never uploaded the video. But sometimes, when I can't sleep, I hear a bell ring in my house, and a soft voice reminding me that my time is almost due.